Yo. Let's get the edits right.
Episode
All right, cool.
6.
Gang. Yes, sir, skis.
Coming right
How you
along.
living, man?
Good, brother. Real good. Real busy. But telling you that is an understatement. I saw you, dog. I seen what y'all doing over there, man. I'm proud of you. I like seeing that.
That's a blessing, bro. It's cool,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, no, it was dope. And here's the thing I love about it, man. It's like that you are showing the world how Christ can manifest in our lives.
Yeah, glory to God, bro.
That's fire.
Glory to God, bro. That's what it really, that's what it's about. But for those that got the ears to hear, they'll hear it. If they don't, then I did what I'm supposed to do. That's all I'm trying to do is finish the race, man.
And if they don't hear, that's the thing, power about life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you don't hear now, you most definitely have the ability to hear later.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how well you have sharpened your ears.
Yeah, it's like where you at in the circle, bro. Because
Exactly.
it's going to loop.
It's going loop.
Yeah, man. Tight. Tight.
But we're gonna get into this episode. I could have gone down that road like the whole time, man. Blessings. But nah, good people. This episode is called America's Next Top Oppressor.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
Oh,
America's Next Top Oppressor. Like they're about to win a performance on NBC.
Jeez.
That's what we're gonna talk about today.
Okay. So it sounds like it's more than one.
Oh, yeah, because this is a process, right? So I think what this iteration of the Matrix obsesses over oppression.
Right.
It obsesses over it, fantasizes over it. It creates fantasies out of it. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I hate to say it, like Black Panther, right? Just as an example, right?
Yeah.
Is a Marvel comic centered around a black man named T'Challa who challenges the American superhero as an official Superman ahead of him, right?
Right.
So you have that
Say it
situation.
again. As an official Superman ahead of him. What do you mean in that?
Yes, Captain America, right? Captain
Okay.
America was America's hero.
Right.
Black Panther says, I am stronger, better, faster, and smarter, right? But in the
Which he
movie,
is by a lot.
yes, exactly. But the movies obsess over him being two things, submissive and altruistic. And he's obsessed with forgiveness. And that's a beautiful thing in Christ. But there's a difference between, hey, I want to forgive the murder of my father, and hey, I'm gonna let y'all fight a cosmic war outside of my major city. Makes no sense, right? But the tragedy of oppression constantly has that hero, better, faster, stronger, smarter, underneath an oppressor. Even in the movie, they say colonizer. They throw those symbols of oppression out there, and we become obsessed with it so much so that we miss that, like, listen, the oppressor today is a victim tomorrow.
Yeah. That's I think that's the most powerful part about understanding that and understanding the loops and understanding seeing the cycles, because a lot of people don't really necessarily, even in marginalized groups right now, just to be honest and transparent as I always am, they don't necessarily want to fix oppression. They just don't want to be the ones being oppressed.
Very
you know
true.
what I'm saying? And so,
Very true.
if you don't actually fix the cause of it, you're going to fall into a loop of the cycles, and it'll just jump from one person to the next person. So you're not really fighting against oppression. You're just fighting against a particular manifestation of that oppression. And you have a choice. Then you're going to have to either actually deal with it, or you're going to become that. They don't want to fix oppression. Sometimes they just want to be the oppressor, which is it's a scary thing to think about. But not scary. That's not what I mean. That's not accurate. But yeah.
And I mean, oppression is a quarter, ultimately, like a coin.
Right.
And it has two sides to it. So If you're heads, you are the victim, and if you're tails, you're the oppressor.
Right.
Well, quarters flip.
Yeah.
So as the quarter flips, now the tails is the oppressor,
Yeah.
and the head is and it goes back and forth because it's a coin.
Yeah.
And many people are often aware of the fact that, okay, in this iteration, I'm tails, meaning oppressor, not understanding that the quarter flipped, and now you are the oppressor, and the person that you oppressed is a victim. Nobody goes to the other side or experiences or expects that they could also be the thing they hate.
Yeah. Because you gotta be in the truth to understand that. Gotta be willing to share what you think about you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And it's just funny, like think about this, right? Like, think about, I saw this thing where we had two pundits. We had a female, folks doing what we doing, right? You had a female podcaster, a male podcaster, very famous people, right? And so they get on here and they're talking about the state of men and women. And each one of them is saying some interesting things, but each one of them is saying not bogus, but just ridiculous things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to go into the comments when I look at this. I just love seeing.
Dog, that's the worst place to be on earth.
No, okay.
Dog, man. I'd rather go to I'd rather be in 9/11 in New York right after 9/11 in the comment section, bro.
I don't know. I'm a type that from heaven can observe hell and pinpoint why it exists that way.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, let me go in here. Like, I'm not going in as myself. I'm going in as an observer.
Right.
So I observed, and one of the things I noticed was as they go, there were 15 women, and out of 15, at least 10 of them was calling this man some racist name a white man would have called him in 1935.
Wait. It was a black dude?
Yes, because he was talking about, men and we, and then the lady was talking about, but women and we, and then they both saying
Is she a white woman?
Things. No, it was a black woman.
Okay, all right. Continue.
I think she's the female Kevin Samuels.
Female Kevin Samuels. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I know who you're talking about,
again,
but let's keep going.
Smart lady. She was saying some dope stuff, but she was talking in the ways to get clicks and views, so she was talking extreme, and he was too. And he was saying some super outlandish stuff. Yeah. It was ridiculous. However, in the comments, it was 10 out of 15 women calling this man a mongrel, a savage, of all of these things.
What did he do? Like what?
Crazy. I mean, he was saying some crazy stuff.
Can we? Is there a possible way to say it without saying it?
This dude, man, we talked about him before, man. Charleston White. I gotta say it.
Okay, yeah.
I love him, but it's a complicated love, right? An appreciation, because it's like, wow, you really say some dope stuff, but wow, that was really extreme. I can't play with you on that. You went too far. And so he was talking about something wild, committing acts against other people simply because they're white.
Okay.
And it's ridiculous. I get what he's doing, but that's not the way to do it, and it's crazy. So he is saying wild stuff.
Okay.
However, it is funny that the very person that would have to stand by his side 50 years ago when he was saying something crazy is now the very person calling him a racist name by the oppressor.
Yeah.
In this time. That's wild. That was wild to me.
Yeah, bro. I'm gonna wait. It'll be too early. We just turned this thing on, bro.
We can't just turn this thing on.
But yeah, bro. Man. I
mean, listen, if you jump in the waters, maybe we can go and see how far this thing goes. You know?
It's to keep it regular, bro. It's like people get mad. It's like you go so far right, eventually you're back left again. You know what I mean? It's like what we kind of talked about. It's like the circle. So it's like, all right, bro, like you're even in trying to talk about this guy, you're still using tools of oppression to get your point across. So you're still in submission to that thing. You know what I mean? That you're unless you're willing to not even associate yourself with it, bro. Yes. But it's interesting, man. It's interesting because it's we get to a point where I think this is where people mess up. There's consequences for your actions, and then there's responsibility. And maybe we dabbled in it before, but a lot of times people neglect the responsibility because of the consequences. If that makes sense. So it's like, if I do something terrible, if I do something that is inherently, not bringing life, like if I cause something detrimental, there's a consequence to that. Now those consequences affect other people, and from those consequences, they are a direct result of my actions. And I have to take full responsibility for it. Now, people mess up because they think that how they then respond to the consequences of my actions is also my responsibility, and it's not. Ooh. Do you get what I mean? And so when you respond at that point, it's completely on you. And you got to accept it, even though I did whatever I did. Now, unless you decide to rise to the truth, to move in that fully, perfectly, blamelessly, you're gonna miss the mark, because you still have a choice to make, regardless of whatever situation you kind of got placed into, bro. So I took a long way to say that, but I think that's the best way to say it before, head dunking all the way in. But yeah.
If I sum that up, it's the worst phrase ever. You make me feel like.
Yes. That sums it up. You make me feel like I did you wrong. Bro.
Oh, you caught me with two chicks in the house? In the house? You caught me like that? Well, I know that happened, and I know that caused the pain. But when you said that unkind thing, it made me feel bad.
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
It's insane, bro, because if like a lot of people live based off of their feelings, bro. And if you want to live in a subjective truth, you know what I'm saying? That's on you. But I'm sure these dudes out here doing heroin, it probably feels good to them. Just because it feels like it's the good thing to do doesn't mean it is. And people got to understand that and be willing to accept it. It's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on, bro, especially like within our community, bro. And that's why I pause, because I'm jumping off next. I ain't got no parachute neither.
Hey, man, listen, that's the goal of this.
Yeah, dog.
Let's see how far it goes, because this is something that like should be expressed. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I look at it like this. How old is the president of the United States?
That guy's ancient, bro.
Fool's like 84 years old. How is it under what circumstances in any time in American history have they had a president that was 80 years old? You know why we have a president that's 80 years old? Because nobody has grown up yet.
Yeah.
Because the 40-year-olds are really supposed to think different. You can clean your body, eat healthy, take care of your body, but you're supposed to engage the world differently from a set of those experiences that you took responsibility from.
Yeah.
And we are void of that because we can have whatever we want.
Yep. It's not truth anymore. It's your truth. My truth is this. It's like, all right, bro. I don't think that's how words work. But whatever.
I call it misreality.
Ooh,
you are misreality. You are engaged in misreality. So unreality is a lack of real. Reality is real. People say my truth. I think that they get my truth confused with misreality. My misreality, in the sense of I am misunderstanding all of the working parts of this, and I don't care.
Yeah, because it's more like a perspective. Like this is what you're seeing.
Yep.
But like, for there to even be anything to perceive, there has to be an objectivity. There has to be an object.
Yes.
For you to perceive. So whatever you're perceiving is your perception, but there is an object there. So that thing is objective. It's not subjective. It's not, But
exactly.
But yeah, bro. All that to say, bro. Like, Everything's not the white man's fault. I'm a chill.
No. And this. Ever since I left the city, you make me feel like I did you wrong. I had to. It was in my spirit. I had to.
Yeah, bro.
Shout out. That's a fire song, though.
Yeah, bro. I heard it in the barbershop the other day. Like I was okay. Face trim. I wasn't obviously not cutting these, but yeah. But he also stole it. But that's neither here nor there, bro.
I mean, the great ones do, unfortunately.
Yeah. Who said that? Who said good artists like create, great artists steal? Who said that?
I don't know, but it's very true. I mean, but I think there's levels of it, and we'll keep moving. But there are levels of it. Like I feel like Michael Jackson. I think like he looked at something like that. You know, like the moonwalk and all that. He got that from a Hungarian dancer from the 70s. There's this thing where it's a movie where this dude is dancing, and it's very similar, but it's tight and it's rigid, and it doesn't land because it doesn't know how to be loose. Yeah. And so Michael Jackson takes it and loosens it up. Yeah. So now it has become its full thing. That is a form of stealing, but it's more I'm contributing to this thing.
Yeah. I mean, because if you take it and then you also work on it, you know, you're doing something. But if you just, you know, grab it and say, hey, this is mine now, in the exact form, there's no innovation, there's no nothing. And as a population, especially over here in the West, we got a particular, people can often confuse colonialization with innovation, but that's a whole nother, maybe that's another podcast.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You did it, so we're doing it. And I could not agree more. I think one of the things that we have to do is understand that white people don't own everything. Yeah. They don't own everything. They don't own temperance, humility. They don't own stick-to-itiveness. They don't own these things. They just took them. Yeah. They took them. They stole them, repackaged them, and said, here you go, we made them. They did not make them, and you can go back and see they clearly didn't make them. Yeah. But we keep thinking they did, so we either rebel against it or we want it. And we want it worse because we misunderstand what it is. Yeah.
What's up, Travis? Majin Goku, my boy Travis, he says here listening and eating pupusas. Do you know what pupusas are? Am I even saying that word right, bro?
I don't know. Is it Greek or Mediterranean?
I feel like it's like Mexican food. Oh. But also, my half Mexican wife is not here for me to ask, so I'll wait till she gets back. But yeah. Nah, bro, like, it's a lot of throwing out the baby with the bathwater, but some people don't even know that they don't care enough to even know that there's a baby in there anyways. And so it's just like, well, what you gonna do, you know? You just gotta be the thing you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. And there's a misperception of assuming that because you're doing something and you're not dying, that God says it's something you should do.
Ooh, say it again. Say that again. Let me make sure I can catch that.
People think, okay, well, I just took 57 people's homes, but I made $100 million profit and I gave $1 million to charity, so God must be blessing this if I'm able to do it. Yeah, and that's a misunderstanding. Yeah, that's not a blessing. That's a curse. God doesn't care about how we view blessings and curses. Yeah, we need to perceive his blessings and curses by what he says, not by what we think.
And it all goes back to self at the end of the day, bro. It's like you're not trying to actually be a part of the solution. You're trying to figure out, you know, your place. You're trying to kind of finagle yourself. It's almost like you're like trading. You're trying to ease yourself in to like take advantage of things rather than just fixing the thing, you know. Mm-hmm. It gets a little messy, and you see it a lot. You see it a lot with a lot of the self-help stuff, a lot of like the I'm jumping now. A lot of like preachers and pastors, a lot of these like people that are like, hey, look at me, look at what we are doing. This is it. This is the thing. But you got to have that discernment, bro, to really know what's a good thing and what's a God thing. And there's no other way than knowing like what God said about it. And that's something you got to know for yourself. Nobody can raise you into that. It's not like a tradition. It's not like a hereditary thing. Like, hey, I was born over here, like in the South, and I grew up Southern Baptist, and so this is the thing that it's supposed to be because, you know, this belief system that is inherent to me, it's a hereditary thing. It's just in my genes. Or I grew up over here in East India, and you know, we went to the temple and we did these things, and so my parents did it, so that means I'm it. It's like that's not how any of that works, bro.
Right.
It's not a noun, dog. Like, it's a thing. All these to be is a verb. Like, it's to do the thing that you're supposed to do is a verb. To walk in the purpose you're supposed to walk is the verb. Like, it's a living word for a reason, man. But
and that's why God is I am, because he is both noun and verb.
Yeah, bro.
That is beyond our understanding. There is no way a thing can be a thing and an action at the same time. That makes no sense. That is the fullest of reality beyond our full comprehension, so much so that we need to appreciate and learn.
Yeah, bro. Humility is the key. Being humble is the key. Yeah. And a lot of times, I know we're even doing a podcast, but cheat code about it is not even talking. Just sitting back, bro, and just letting it come to. But yeah, let me not get too far.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What's canceling really? Because clearly, like, the people who do this have the power to oppress a person, whether or not you agree or not. But what is it really? Because it makes me wonder, like, if somebody gets canceled, if they don't get paid by you, is it real?
It's a mob, man. It's just a mob. That's all it is. It's an angry mob. It's the new pitchforks and torches, but they're not gonna ever do anything with them. They're gonna see you on the street and be quiet, unless there's a camera in their face, and then they might, you know, act up.
So it has very little damage in your reality.
So here's the thing. If I'm not of the earth, something that is of the earth can do no harm to me. If my treasures are not on the earth and you're trying to rob me, take everything. You're going to leave with exactly what you came with. You're not going to get anything. But if my treasures are here and you rob me, then I'm not going to have anything. If my life is here and you take it from me, then my life is dead. Like, you're not going to have anything. So a lot of times the people that are getting canceled, they're in the realm with the people that are canceling them. So everything that, you know, they built up, this persona, this internet thing, like, hey, I can't remember the guy's name, and just to not cast aspersions, like, guy had this, you know, family dynamic or whatever, wife, like, you know, self-help type stuff, and his whole perspective on everybody's perspective on his life was what he was choosing to live as his reality. So when it comes out that this guy's an adulterer, a liar, a cheater, all these kinds of things that people did not perceive him to be, that's no longer their perspective on him. So it can no longer, like, be his reality. So he's, like, effectively, quote unquote, canceled from this life because he existed in that thing. Say it again.
Got you. But from this acceptance.
Yeah. He existed in that thing that they allowed him to be in. But a lot of the folks that kind of stand the test of time, you notice, are the folks that just see it and they don't say anything, or the folks that see it and their core of whatever they're operating from isn't in that. Like, bro, you're not going to be able to cancel Dave Chappelle. He doesn't live where you live.
He doesn't live where you live.
He's not existing where you're existing at. Like, he
lives very far from you.
Yeah, so it's like,
in a place that's poor.
Like, you're playing chess, and he's playing like Japanese shogi or Monopoly, right? Yeah. Like a completely different game. And you're like, hey, you can't play over here with me anymore. He's like, you're canceled from playing over here. He's like, I wasn't over there. I had no plans on. Okay, cool. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the biggest difference, man. At least in my view.
I will say this, to this point, right? So I find that when I get into those spaces of aggression, people try me, especially now. Yeah. It's like I'll have a kid that I'm teaching, and he'll get mad and start cussing me out, right? what it does is it's like I immediately feel this 2 seconds of extreme rage. Like it's this 2 seconds of like, it's 2 seconds, but it's probably in my mind 20 minutes, because it's like, oh, I'll do this and all this other stuff, right? And almost after those 2 seconds, like, okay, can't handle this, God, help. And God will give me something that's like, okay, sir, peace and blessings. I don't really want nothing from you, but peace and blessings, brother. Yeah. Because it's like I had to overcome that thing, and I had to be honest that I was feeling that thing, so I could overcome it.
Yeah, bro. I think we talked about it that like either last time or maybe we talked about it offline, bro, where it's like the spirit is gonna, for you to grow, you have to be faced with the thing that you need to grow from. You know what I'm saying? So if your problem is all right, cool. I jumped off. I'm about to be jumping in. If your problem is like alcohol, right? And then you are like, yo, I'm no longer, I'm not gonna, whatever. I can't look at it. That might be good for a time, but eventually, if your whole life is based around the fact that you can't do this one thing, you are still a slave to it. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to overcome it, you have to have that placed in a situation where you can see it and not be affected by it one way or another. So like whether it's with your emotions, because obviously, you know, we're not supposed to be angry. Human anger doesn't produce God's righteousness or whatever, but being continually like fronted with those situations allows you to work on it, and then you grow from it, and then it's no longer the same. Instead of having to be like, oh no, let me not get in my emotions this way because it can control me and let me run away from it. It's like, well, you didn't really beat it, bro. It's still if you guys go head to head, and you think you can lose, then you're not winning. You need to be able to go head to head with whatever and overcome it. That's why you're supposed to be fireproof. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the fire's coming, bro. It's coming. You better make sure you make it through it though. And it's only one way. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. Hey, you ever be like sometimes I go and I look at stuff. I go on Instagram or something. I saw I think her name, the rapper. I don't know what her name is.
You say Sexy Red, ain't you?
Yeah, that one. And there was another one that was like, we eating this, and I was like, dang, like it'd be so ridiculous. I'd be like, baby, what? Ugh. Like it's tiring, right? So I'm looking at this.
Yuck.
Yeah, it's like it's dull. It's like seeing that stuff is like getting punched in the stomach over and over. I've been tased 3 times, and getting and watching that stuff is worse than being tased all 3 times. I've been pepper sprayed is worse than that. It is worse if you can imagine that I've experienced it pain wise.
Oh, brother.
That is some of the worst pain you could have.
Yeah.
Like it's dull. It's like, my gosh, right? But
yeah,
I noticed there was this video with these two, and they were talking about we performing at the Oscars, we performing at BET Awards, we performing at Planned Parenthood, Popeyes. They say all of that, right? And I wonder, so let's talk. The spirit is always open, but let's talk as observers on this, simply observers, right? Looking at this and asking yourself, is it possible to flip a negative truly into a positive?
Totally.
Okay, better question, is it possible to maintain the negative and flip that into a positive? Nah,
the negative's got to be dead though, like within you.
Negative, that's fact.
Like, so, because again, it's the same thing. It's what we talked about it before, bringing it back. Then a negative is literally, it's a consequence. It's a consequence of an action. The issue comes when it's your turn to deal with that consequence. So if you stay in that negativity, if you stay within that thing that brings death, that doesn't bring life, you can't have life and have death. It's one or the other. It's not hot nor cold. It's got to be hot or cold. It can't be lukewarm. And if you're lukewarm, you're still going to be dead. So if you let that negativity... Go ahead.
No. I guess it's, as an observer, I'm wondering, why is it that humans feel like, right? I know that it comes from the flesh, but it also, I think at the heart of all of our sin is fear.
Yeah.
It's fear. I'm fearful something will happen.
Yeah.
So a person like me is, okay, what were you fearful of?
Mm.
What was the thing? What was the idol that you put there? You get what I'm saying?